Hello, my fiends. This is Tom McLaughlin, and you're listening to Don't Go Out There's podcast. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode. All right, guys, jumping to the film review. This week we'll be taking on the fan poll winner, Dustin's choice. Dustin, why don't you go ahead and just announce what you chose and why you chose it?
Yeah, this month for the fan poll, I decided to put 1998's Fallen on there. Really, it's a movie that I've wanted to review. I just didn't really ever feel like, I just didn't ever pick it. And so figured I'd put it on the poll and see if enough people wanted us to review it. That way it wouldn't just be on me to pick it. It's a good movie. I watched it, a few years ago and liked it. I feel like it's one of those that somehow is underrated. And what I mean by that is you don't see a lot of people talk about it. You don't hear, people raving about it. But you also don't hear them saying that it's bad. It's just one of those that exists that people forget about, which is crazy when you consider it's got Denzel Washington, John Goodman, Donald Sutherland, James Gandolfini. I mean, great cast. It fits that. I mean, we had a string there for a while. We were doing a lot of these 90s crime thrillers. And to me, what I like about it is it's like a noir crime thriller that's also supernatural horror. Like, that's a unique blend. And I just think it's a good movie. So I was happy that it won.
Yeah, I'll go next. This is a movie I actually watched pretty recently, before this most recent rewatch. I do think it's a good movie, but I don't love it personally. I do agree that it fits in nicely with those 90s crime thrillers. It's a little better than the others we've done recently, like Resurrection. Oof, way better than that one. Mm-hmm. Love Denzel, love John Goodman. They were great in this movie, and I mentioned it during my scene by scene. They have great chemistry on screen as well. I don't know, it's a little bit too long, and it just
pause.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Hey, who's that, by the way? Who's that voice?
Heyo!
I just think the movie's fine. It's good. I don't hate it by any means, but let's just say I'm pretty right on the nose with what IMDb has it rated.
Okay. All right. It's nice to be back, fellas. But first of all, I thought I'd seen this whenever I called it. I don't know. It might have been in our group chat, or it might have been on the episode I was on with Dustin last week. But when I called it a 90s banger the other day, when I was asked by these gentlemen to be on the show, thank you again. But I was mistaken. I had not seen this movie. However, my quick review still stands. Another 90s banger. Honestly, though, once you hear the budget and gross, it's kind of what Dustin said. It is 100% cult classic and hidden gem status, I think. And listen, on a positive note, Mike can call me crazy all he wants to. But I'm here to tell you, this stuff is real. Demons are real. All the fallen angel stuff's real. Read the Book of Enoch. Everyone will find out eventually. But as I said when we did As Above, So Below, this stuff is super interesting to me. The way the demon aspect that, by the way, usually scares me was presented in this movie was almost more of a, like you said, more mystery thriller thing than a horror thing. So it appealed to my interest more in that than scared me. I do get people who, like you just said, say it's too long, pause, or drags a little bit as a critique. But I don't feel that way personally because I think that it's needed to be able to see that wear and tear on Calvin's brother, John Hobbs. That's a Calvin and Hobbes joke. How about that? But I think that like you mentioned, the cast is amazing. The way it was shot, which I'll get into more in my notes from Gregory Hoblit, who we talked about when we reviewed Primal Fear. Don'tGoOutThere.com, another 90s banger. But yeah, very high score for me on this one.
It makes me even more glad that it won the poll just for the fact that you thought you had seen it. So I don't know when you would have ever got around to watching it because it's just one of those you thought you'd saw. So you're like, I don't need to watch it again. So I'm glad.
Yeah, never
glad that worked
probably.
out.
So yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I, for some stupid reason, am doing the stupid scene by scene, which means I've got a lot to read because this is a lot of words I typed out because a lot happens in the movie. So anyone else have any opening thoughts before I jump into it?
Nah, I'm just excited to have Brian back.
No stupid thoughts? No, that was not. Thank you.
Lord, beard me the biggest strength you've ever beard me. We open with the Denzel Washington narration telling us about the time he almost died. And then we see Denzel. That's right. I say Denzel because I heard him in an interview saying that that's the correct pronunciation. So it's Denzel. Anyway, a.k.a. Detective John Hobbs running and crawling through the snow away from a cabin. To show us how we got here, we go back in time. Not to the beginning, though, more recently. Reese. We see cop cars pulling up to a prison through a crowd of protesters, and John is greeted by Lieutenant Stanton, and John is wanted inside. Edgar Reese, a.k.a. Casey Jones, minus his Jose Canseco bat, is in a cell that John put him in. They catch up for a minute, and Reese starts speaking in tongues as they shake hands. Whatever that phrase was, he said. Reese tells John a riddle. What's between Lyons and Spekowski? And as John is leaving, he speaks some Dutch and says, remember, what goes around comes around. You know, Nigel Powers hates the Dutch. That's a Goldmember reference, Nico.
Solid gold!
Fast forward to Reese's execution, and we get some trippy editing that makes it as if a spirit is walking the halls with him. The same trippy editing that we saw while John was running through the snow in the open. They fry him, and he never loses his charisma or showmanship, even singing up to his last breath. We get another trippy shot that looks as if a spirit is leaving Reese's body and hovering over the gallery until it stops in front of the cop who flipped a switch. Cut to John arriving at a bar where his colleagues, James Gandolfini and John Goodman, a.k.a. Lou and Jonesy, are drinking and watching his press conference on the TV. John orders the best beer, the king of beers, a Budweiser, and Lou gives John the third degree about cops lining pockets. John says he doesn't, but he doesn't judge, and even dirty cops do more good than the rest of the population. We see a cop who flipped a switch, and he bumps into a guy who bumps into a woman, and so on and so forth, and it's like the spirit is transferring hosts with every touch. Later that night, John is awakened by a phone call from a blocked number, and no one is on the line. That's the open. What'd you guys think?
I have a lot on this one, so bear with me. It'll thin out as we go along, as my wife is fully aware. Anyway, since I'm a graphics guy here, let me start out with a fun fact. This is actually the first film with the 75th anniversary variant of that Warner Brothers logo we get here at the start. It was animated by Intralink Film Graphic Design. So there you go. But as Dustin said, our boy Casey Jones, Elias Koteas here, playing an amazingly unhinged Edgar Reese. And honestly, a little screen time as little screen time as it does have, that dude makes a huge impact on this movie, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, I couldn't tell whether or not he was beaten off or pissing before this, but whatever. Regardless, when he reached for Hobbs' hand to shake it, I was like, dude, you are not fucking going to do that. Or that man just had his dick in his hand. You aren't going to – he didn't wash his hands. You're not going to touch that thing, which was more disturbing, in my opinion, than this real Syrian Aramaic dialogue that he had. Not so fun fact, during pre-production, Elias actually traveled to Ohio to meet a man who could speak it. You would get that from Ohio. To help with the dialogue, but refused to utter the curse words. I put that in air quotes because it was like an actual curse words, not swear words. Which, yeah, I mean, because he's sane. Shit's real. Words have power. You can't say that shit. Anyway, but around 5 minutes, 12 seconds now, as he's being moved to the electric chair, he says, "Ladies and gents, cocksuckers and terrorists, I hope you enjoy the show. I hope everybody's okay with me clipping that, using as the new intro to our show. I hope so, because I'm going to do it." Anyway, but his delivery was chef's kiss. I loved it. Two more things. I kind of mentioned in my open, I love the transitions from real time to like that grainy, almost first-person view from Gregory Hoblit. The demon vision footage in the film was apparently shot using film stock called Ektachrome, and the scenes were all shot at 6 frames per second, then printed at 24 frames per second. So it means each frame is exposed 4 times, because 6 times 4 is 24, Mike. But coupled with camera movements, this technique gives a blurred, streaky quality, which I did love. Last thing, I've got to call out the great 90s John Goodman. Listen, 90s John Goodman is my favorite John Goodman. Like, don't get me wrong, he's hilarious as hell in Righteous Gemstones, but skinny John Goodman, it's just not the same to me. I mean, what can I say, though? Nicholas Kazan, the writer, specifically wrote the role of Jonesy for John Goodman, and he's got the best line of the whole movie later on, which I'll point out. And you guys have no fucking idea how nostalgic it was to see that caller ID box next to that phone. Like, I don't think I'd even thought of that for decades. And holy shit, I had one of those. Like, my man should have hit that star 69 button, though, for all you youngins that would automatically call back the last person who called you. Also, sidebar, star 67 would block your caller ID before you called. And that was some good for some prankers. But man, that took me back. Anyway, sorry for going so long.
Never heard that before.
Something my wife has never heard. Yeah.
I mean, I've never said that before. Whoops.
Whoa. I've never heard that before, neither. Damn, all 3 of us are fucking losers. Always good to see one of the goats on our screen, I'm going to call him Denzel, too, if that's what he wants, if that's how he pronounces his name, Mr. Denzel Washington. I was about to ask you, I was like, did he say that's the way you say it? Because I've always heard of Denzel, but Mr. Denzel Washington, making his second appearance on our show after The Bone Collector, I do believe. I think this is his second appearance. I think this is John Goodman's second appearance as well with 10 Cloverfield Lane. Donald Sutherland made quite the weird, spooky face as Hobbs goes into the prison. You know, I got my eyes on you, Mr. Lieutenant Stanton. I don't like your face and you look creepy. Right? Edgar Reese is an odd fellow speaking a bunch of gibberish, and that jump scare sound effect when he tried to shake Hobbs' hand, didn't care for it. Y'all know how I am about unnecessary jump scares. Here's something I'd like to know. How many death row execution scenes have we seen on this podcast? This one, Law-Abiding Citizen, and Nefarious come to mind, but I feel like there has to be one more. Jamie, look that up. Somebody find that out for me. Good review talk here, but I kind of like this POV of this demonic entity leaving Reese and hovering over the rest of the attendees. I really appreciated that. Never be like Lou. Let someone drink whatever they want to drink. That bull jive annoys me. It's like I hate when someone tells me like what kind of beer I should get. Fuck off, man. I laughed at Lou changing his tune, though. I guess I'm switching to Bud after Hobbs, his little spiel on life. I thought that was a good laugh. I like James Gandolfini. He's good in this movie. Third time seeing Robert Joy on our show as well. His first being The Hills Have Eyes, and more recently with the not very good 90s thriller Resurrection. No offense to Steve Schmidt. And the last thing I thought it was a good opening, Dustin, and I'm ready to see where this goes. I have seen it recently, but I can't remember shit. I think I caught your CTE, and I can't remember that well these days.
It's contagious. John walks into the kitchen where his brother, Art, is making his nephew's lunch before he heads out for school. Once the adults are gone, Art gets real sad boy, and John lifts his spirits. We cut to the last guy who got bumped into during the spirit transferal and see that he's got a dead guy in his bathtub. John heads into work, and the guy is watching him. At his desk, he gets a call about a clue, and he and Jonesy go to check it out, where they find the dead body in the tub. Jonesy finds some writing on the wall behind a door, and it's the riddle Reese told him. Back at the precinct, they discuss motive, and Lou says there's a cop named Spakowski. He's an asshole. His name was up on a plaque, and when they go to look at it, there's a name missing between Lyons and Spakowski. John discusses with Lieutenant Stanton, and they've got to find out whose name is missing. John does some research at home later and comes across the name, Robert Milano, who died by a gun accident. John discusses his findings with Stanton the next day, and Stanton tells him to keep whatever he finds out to himself. John and Jonesy watched a documentary about Reese, and Jonesy says that the new killer knew the exact poison Reese used and quoted Reese, and he could be a cop. While watching the tape, Jonesy goes back to the handshake and asks John if he's sure Reese was speaking Dutch there. Cut to John in his car, and he's at Greta Milano's house to talk to her about her father. He tells her that Reese, in a roundabout way, gave him her father's name, and she asks if Reese liked to sing and tried to touch him at the execution. She tells him that her dad caught a killer, but a copycat kills followed, and evidence was mounting up against him. He had his medal rescinded, and he killed himself. She knows he was innocent, but she's afraid she may be in danger. She tells him how she knows. John thanks her, and she says she'd rather he didn't call her if he has more questions. As he leaves, she asks him if he believes in God, and he says in his line of work, faith is a little hard to sustain. So she wishes him good luck and shuts the door. Go ahead.
All right, Nico brought him up last group of scenes. I was also shocked to see Donald Sutherland in this. I almost forgot how amazing that dude is until I watch older movies that he's in. I mean, I think actually the first time I watched this, I said to myself, if Sutherland isn't the bad guy, I don't know what they're even doing. He's such a great one. I fully expected him to be the killer before this movie told me what was actually the killer or what was going on. And then hell, even in that last set of scenes for the finale when he showed up, I still was like, if they've seen Backdraft, they would make him the bad guy. Spoiler alert. But dude's a psycho in every movie he's played in, except maybe Animal House, but he's fucking great. Anyway, fun fact, when they first showed me Greta Milano as John peeks through her door as they crack it open, I literally looked like Alyssa Milano.
Dude, I thought that too.
And then they said her name. It was Greta Milano, and it was even more like reinforced and reaffirmed. Then we see her face better, and listen, that was more of a mind fuck for me than anything in this movie. Because I was like, what? Blew my mind, man. Felt like the aliens meme. Aliens. And Beth Davids, though. Sheila from Army of Darkness, which sucks. Not sorry, Evil Dead fans. And as my wife pointed out, she walked by when she was on the screen. Hey, Matilda's teacher. So she was also Peter's mom in Amazing Spider-Man movies, which are great too. But anyway, according to the DVD extras, the role of Greta was originally written for two different characters. Greta and an old lady named Maud, who I guess knew a lot about the demon, whose name starts with A, that I'm definitely not going to say out loud. And the cabin in the woods scene was actually Maud's home. I'm glad that they combined those two characters. Another good group of scenes to me.
It's crazy that you just mentioned Backdraft because I literally watched that movie Tuesday.
Movie's fucking great.
Just watched Backdraft, and
that is one of my top 15 probably favorite movies ever.
It's a good one.
Yeah, sorry, Dustin. I really don't have much, so I'm not going to give you much of a break from reading here. Some more good review talk here, but stylistically, this film looks so similar to the many other 90s crime thrillers we've covered in like Dustin mentioned, the past year and a half. We did do quite a bit of them. You know, I already did it, but I'll give him another shout out to John Goodman as well. He's awesome, and I really enjoyed the movie 10 Cloverfield Lane that Brian picked, much better than the original Cloverfield. I actually bought that steelbook it was on sale for Father's Day, so I got that digital code. You know what? Let's do a giveaway right fucking now, since I don't have that many notes. First person to comment on this promo post, they want the digital code, they can have it. Booyah! That's what giveaway time. Pew pew pew. Lieutenant wanting Hobbs to keep anything he finds out about Milano is very sketchy to me, and I don't trust this Lieutenant Stanton guy at all. Like, why are you covering this up, brother? Some more good review talk here, but all these autumn leaves falling and the scenery got me really wanting to trip up north during the fall sometime soon. I need that crisp air in my life. Very weird to ask Detective after he walks outside. Mind you, if he believes in God, then just says good luck. I think that's very weird. Like, why would you ask, do you believe in God, then just close the door? Kind of sketchy to me. Last thing I got, Dustin, hasn't been the easiest movie to take notes on for me so far, honestly, but it's been pretty good so far.
I think that's pretty considerate Christianity. Do you believe in God? If he says yes, then I'm going to pray for you is an appropriate response. But if he doesn't believe in prayer, then maybe she just didn't want to go down that road and have that conversation at the moment. Just, okay, good luck. Anyway. I
agree with that. It was just weird how she let the brother walk outside, shut the door, but then she rips it back open and then's like, hey, do you believe in God? It's like, it feels like she was setting him up for failure.
John gives narration, Denzel's voice gives narration about the basic job of humans being to figure out what the hell is going on. As we see his car park and the mysterious killer passes him on the sidewalk with the spirit POV cam, and then the man bumps into a stranger getting off the train. At home, John wakes up his brother and his nephew to tell them to go to bed. They're on the couch like some bums. And the phone rings, but no one's there again. And it rings again. but they don't answer this one. We go to the mysterious killer's home, and he calls his job, confused about the last few days. He gets a knock on his door, and it's the guy who bumped into him getting off the train. He's there to kill him. John gets another ghost call as he's watching Reese's documentary, and we see that the next crime scene is set up exactly like the first copycat crime scene. At work, John discusses the case with Lou and Jonesy, and they brought in a professor to try to figure out the language Reese spoke to John. Verdict? He doesn't know, but he thinks it's Syrian Aramaic, like Brian said earlier. John tells Jonesy that Reese was right-handed, which concerns him since the crimes were committed left-handed, and he gets an anonymous call about another clue. They head to the address to find the newest casualty. John finds a clue behind the mirror that says ? Equals look in the mirror. He tells Jonesy about his encounter with the victim last night on the sidewalk, and they discuss what they know about the situation. Back at the precinct, Jonesy tells Lieutenant Stanton it's like deja vu with Reese's case, and John checks out Robert Milano's file. We cut to John playing basketball with his nephew, and Jonesy shows up to catch the end of the game. He tells John the latest victim was the killer in the last crime scene. John thinks there's a ringmaster that's actually doing the killing, and they go their separate ways. Go ahead.
Am I the only one that felt like the messages on the mirrors, I wanted more from them? Like, I felt like a lot of them didn't even pan out. Or I forgot all about even any some of them. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one with that one. No,
I agree with you. 7 did it way better.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was trying to compare it to, which isn't fair, but 90s.
Just think about how much better 7 would have been had the cast and direct. Anyway.
Here we go.
Sorry.
So, like, at the beginning of this set of scenes, when you're watching the narration back as John, gives throughout, knowing the ending, it kind of makes me see it from a different point of view. I do love that. But there is one critique that I'll say is some of the stuff he says, if it's like the demon telling this story and not John, it doesn't really make sense as the demon. Like, before he runs into the next victim on the sidewalks, he's talking about his meeting last scene with Greta, acting kind of like he didn't know what she was talking about. And so, like, maybe I'm thinking about it wrong, but like, that's the twist, right? That it's the demon the whole time telling us the story. So, like, why would he, it wasn't like he was acting like John. It was like, he was genuinely like, why would she bring up God? Like, what does this mean? Well, to me, that doesn't make any sense on the rewatch, but a little nitpick of mine as, the movie as a whole kind of has. Another fun fact, the police precinct and the squad room used are the same ones, if they look familiar to anyone that's my age, use the old cop series NYPD Blue, which makes even more sense if you dig deeper because Greg Hoblet served as producer on all 37 episodes of NYPD Blue. So there you go. And the last thing I'll say here, Nico, and you can go, this is the line I was talking about with John Goodman, written as at 43:36 right here at the basketball court where he says, somebody's playing with my dick, and it ain't me. Somebody give Nicholas Kazan a screenplay writing Oscar for that one. And listen, if there was ever a John Goodman line written, that was it. Fun fact, Kazan did get nominated for an Oscar for 1991's Reversal of Fortune and won a Bram Stoker Award. Bram Stoker, I guess. Bram Stoker is not how you say that. Bram Stoker Award for best for best screenplay for this movie as well. So I wanted to get that in.
Bram Stoker and Sigourney Weaver.
Man was talking about dicks and started talking about strokers. Denzel has a great narrator voice, whatever you want to call it. I'm surprised. Has he done more of this? Like, has he done like a lot of voiceover work or animated work? Because I don't know why he hasn't. If he has a great voice. Like Denzel needs help getting more work these days. Hobbs' brother Art asked randomly, you ever get scared? Yeah, me too. I wonder if Hobbs is tired of all these random questions he gets out from people. It's like, God, I know he's kind of got special needs, but I don't know. After the day off, I don't need all these random questions. Not a fan of this shaky, slowed down, distorted view of Charles getting attacked. Messy to look at, and it seemed to only be done to just be a little artsy or different. Could have gone without that. It has never made sense to me why killers call the cops and give them clues on how to catch them. But hey, the justice system will take it. Hobbs and Jonesy arrive to the basketball court, and I can't help but wonder if Jeff Teague is there some way or somehow. If you get that joke, me and you can be friends because I don't know how I got on Jeff Teague conspiracy watch or whatever, but Jeff Teague has literally been everywhere throughout history. I wrote the line down too, Brian. Somebody's playing with my dick and it ain't me, but I had a different point of view from you. I was like, what do you mean by that, Jonesy? And the last thing I got, I'm just bitching again. This continues to be a difficult film to take notes on because this is a long movie, a lot of scene by scene, but I've got like 5 or 6, 7 bullet points. I don't know why I struggled so much.
Rumor has it Jeff Teague was actually the one that lit the fire when Joan of Arc was burned. So that's kind of a little fun fact.
I think he was there at the Boston Tea Party too.
Yeah.
That's why he called it a reunion when he got signed by the Celtics.
John goes on a little road trip out of the city and pulls up to a quaint little cabin in the woods on the lake. He looks around a while, and his narration says time is divided into 2 parts, before this and after this. Sometimes you can feel the moment coming, and strong people keep moving forward. As he looks around the basement, he somehow finds some books that were completely hidden by cobwebs, yet the pages also look brand new. Anyway, the ceiling almost collapses on him, and he finds a photograph that says "Look" on the back. So that's what he does. He looks around some more and discovers a hidden message behind years of gunk and paint and grime on a wall that says Azalea. Okay, it says Azazel, but I don't like saying that name either, but I think I have to. I guess that's why he's a detective, though, because who would have thought to clean the wall like that to find that message? The next day, he visits Greta and tells her he was at her family's place in the mountains and asks her what Azazel means. She tells him to leave and drop the case. At the precinct, John finds out the calls he got at home were from the crime scenes at the time of the murder, and Jonesy gets a fax with the translation of the Aramaic. John goes to a bar after work, and the spirit watches him leave. He senses something is following him and chases after a shadow, and we see a portly fella watching John. John continues his research, and we see that the spirit has taken a cat as host now, which passes to another guy, and then to John's coworkers in the precinct, including Janice from The Sopranos, eventually getting to Lou. This thing is like COVID in 2020, just running rampant through the office. They need to socially distance for real. Lou tries to get John to tell him where he went in the mountains, and then starts singing the same song that Reese sang as he was executed. And we see the song bug pass to a couple of other cops.
This is like a Sopranos reunion. I didn't realize that she was in it as well.
Yeah.
This is a good scene to kind of talk about the soundtrack, because the cabin scene here is where it really starts standing out to me. Like, I realized, like, damn, my anxiety level is kind of super high when he's walking around here, and it's because of that damn score from composer Tan Dun, who, by the way, won an Academy Award for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Sorry, Nick. Did I offend you, Nico, by talking like that just then? Sorry. In 3 years after
Not
this,
offended, brother. Not offended.
all right, good. And yeah, that jump scare in the basement when the rafter collapses, I'm not afraid to admit that one got me. Fun fact, I wasn't even in the original fucking script either. Like, apparently during test screenings, the scene had just had him finding the books, then leaving, which you brought it up, Dustin. Another sidebar. The amount of spider webs, by the way, on those fucking books. Like, the effects department's got to chill a little bit and tone that shit down because, I mean, were those books from the year 8? Like, come on, what the fuck? Anyway, there was no jump scare originally, like, at all. So during a screening, an audience member got up to go to the bathroom right then, and the door like made a loud bang, and everybody in the theater jumped apparently. So the WB executive suggested to add that jump scare in. So probably one of the only examples of executive interference in a movie that I've ever heard that actually helped the movie and didn't hinder it. But anyway, great all-around scene in the cabin, from the music to the writing. Honestly, I loved it. I also really liked how back at that precinct, this was really the first time I think we saw that with John. I guess first time I paid attention to it with the body jumping. And I don't know, does it maybe come off a little bit hokey? Not maybe. Like, I think it really could, I guess. But I think the way that Denzel plays it, I almost like believing but not believing what he's seeing, I thought was great. Like, I mean, this movie has no business being, truthfully, having such a great cast and performances from these guys in it. Like, it just almost feels like it just has no business being that way. But then, you know, and I don't want to come off wrong when I say that, but I guess I would expect a cast this big to be in a bigger film. But then, like, on the other side of it, when you hear the budget, the studio definitely, I think, believed in this one. Like, that it was trying to make it a huge film, which didn't pan out, which I'm sure Nico and Dustin will touch on with that one, as we always do later on. But Also, really like the foreshadowing with the cat in this episode or this set of scenes.
You know, Denzel turned down Seven. I saw like either Instagram reel or TikTok. He turned down Seven, so he could have been in a bunch of these '90s thrillers.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, if you want another Denzel noir crime thriller, you should watch Devil in a Blue Dress. That's a good movie, and like hardly anyone's seen it. Never
even heard of it, brother.
There you go.
Same.
Yeah, I thought it was some nice overhead camera work as Hobbs goes to the cabin, and I'm loving this autumn scenery. I wish we'd have been out there a little more, honestly. My dog Hobbs drove out to the cabin, did the old formulaic look around, and got a majority of the answers he needs. Hell yeah, brother. We always love that horror thriller movie. And I know Dustin, the character he plays on the show, would probably advise against this, but Hobbs needs to listen to the lady here. You got to walk away from this case. No need to mess around with any kind of these demons, brother. Just go home, man. You don't need these problems.
Shit, a woman tells me to do that, and I'm running full force towards the case.
Mind you, Dustin hates demons. He's terrified of these things.
Well, it's like, okay, I'm going to listen to a demon tell me to avoid this demon. No, what are you talking about?
Fair enough. Saying it again, I like this demonic POV watching Hobbs. It feels very menacing and haunting, so I really appreciated that. I love this concept of the demon spreading with a simple touch and the host doesn't even know it. Like, man, this is like It Follows like on steroids. Like, this is terrifying. Denzel and James Gandolfini, they have great chemistry together and screen presence. I really liked it. I kind of wish they had more scenes together as well. And the last thing I got, if I'm Hobbs, I'm totally weirded out with what the hell's going on with all these folks singing the same song that the killer sang before his execution. I'd be like, what the hell is going on around this joint? What they were singing the Rolling Stones for?
John goes after the last cop that was singing, but when he gets to him, he's normal again. He doesn't know what John is talking about, and John sees a guy smirk at him as he's leaving. So he goes after him, speaking Aramaic at him, but it's got his wife now. It passes a couple of more times, and Azazel gives John a vague warning. He goes back to work, and he's on tilt. Lou has no recollection of singing, so John visits Greta again. He asks her if it's for real, and she says we're not supposed to know what's going on. She says that some angels were cast down, and the fallen have no body. They can only survive in the bodies of others. He scoffs at her logic and asks why Azazel has fixated on him and how to fight it. She says she has a network of people who were sent by God to fight demons. They share a touching personal moment, and old Denzel is turning on the charm. As she leaves him, we see that Azazel is watching and follows Greta. Azazel is in form of John Reynolds, a.k.a. Rizzo from the underrated movie Blue Streak. Love that movie. And he corners Greta. He plays some mind games with her, but is interrupted before he can touch her, so now the chase is on. She runs down the sidewalk as Azazel passes from person to person and narrowly escapes in a cab. John meets back up with her in a church, and she tells him what happened, and he tells her they shouldn't be seen together anymore. Back at the precinct, Lieutenant Stanton asks John where he was when the last two murders happened. They found his prints at one of the crime scenes. He says it's a frame job and tells the lieutenant this is the same thing that happened to Milano. John goes home where he discovers his address book is gone and his brother has been punched by his own son. Azazel has breached the perimeter and now has his nephew's friend. He chases the boy, who passes it to another man, who opens fire on John in broad daylight. They have a standoff, and John has to shoot the man, leaving Azazel without a body for the time being. Go ahead.
All right, so this can be, I mean, depending on, I guess, how you feel about the subject matter, to which I've been pretty clear on how I feel about it, and I really wish Dustin would quit saying the demon's name. But it can be a heavy movie, especially in parts. So I'll tell you this, and maybe it'll lighten the mood a little bit. But at 1 hour and 5 minutes when John is back at Milano's apartment and says, "Can I ask you something personal?" You know what immediately popped in my mind? I finished this sentence out loud and said, "You into black men?" Because, I mean, he didn't say that, but I guessed wrong. But if I were Denzel, that would have been my line. "Hey, you into black men?" Anyway, Miss Parker from Spider-Man. Anyway, absolutely beautiful upside down shot at the 1 hour, 9 minutes, 12 seconds mark. The tracking shot of Denzel as he enters the church and how it pans around. I thought that was absolutely beautiful shot. There's not much on this set of scenes, but again, I think that this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, where most people in the movie kind of start to feel like it's dragging some. Again, I say it's, also where I feel like he starts really feeling the pressure and that the demon is, putting a whole lot of pressure on his life. And I think that it's absolutely necessary, and I love it. But I will also say it is my least favorite set of scenes. But again, it's like having Scream 3 as your worst movie in your franchise. Like, if that's the worst you're doing, in my opinion, pretty damn good.
Give me Scream 3 over Scream 7 any day.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
No.
One has Jay and Silent Bob. The other doesn't.
One has McKenna Grace and the other one doesn't.
Don't
Both
care.
are facts. Both are facts.
Officer Mike is like, the fuck is he on? You think I'm singing some Rolling Stone song randomly? Like, I loved that. I loved his reaction to Denzel. I like how the demon swaps back and forth between the couple, then the husband just passes it off and so forth. Hobbles is in way over his head with this case. Hell, everybody is guilty. Lock them all up as far as I'm concerned. Loving the classic Denzel crash out as he questions Greta. That was great. I love Denzel's crashing out. My dog Hobbs is trauma bonded with Greta with a quickness. I see the vision here, King. I am glad they didn't make it into a love interest, but I could have seen it happening. This guy messing with Greta looked like a combination of Sam Neill and Stephen King. Great performance by him, though. He was creepy as hell, this guy attacking her on the street. The fuck is this taxi driver doing, though? He pissed me off. Like, why are you taking so long to drive off? You see this guy's going nuts. I want to know why Stanton is so avoidant to talk anything about Robert Milano. It's very suspicious with this guy. Shit's getting spooky at Hobbs' house. Azazel done found his primary residence. We don't love to see that. I bet as an onlooker, this has to be wild seeing this grown-ass man just chasing this kid down the street. Shit escalates real quick as the new Azazel possessed man is firing at Hobbs. And I'm liking this added tension. I guess me and Brian are not in this together. I kind of enjoyed this set of scenes. The action picked up. I'm liking the tension, the hysteria Hobbs is feeling, and the upbeat in action with what's going on.
I'm going to protect all of our listeners and beep out every time you guys say this damn demon's name. I just want everybody to know that's what's going to happen.
Well,
Azazel?
It's funny you say that, Brian. I was going to ask you, how do you feel about the fact that this movie, Fallen, Wolverine and Charles Xavier, the X-Men are canon in the Fallen universe and vice versa, because Azazel is actually the name of Nightcrawler's dad.
That's true.
So
That is true.
there's that. Nico got that reference.
Wolverine, he wears the yellow suit, doesn't he? He does.
Yeah.
Who's the other one you said?
Nightcrawler.
And Professor Xavier.
Yeah,
And
Nightcrawler.
Charles
That's
Xavier.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well,
He is.
Charles Xavier is who else I said, and he's Professor X, wheelchair.
Isn't that the guy in isn't that the guy in Spider-Man 3?
No.
Who's in Spider-Man 3? Never mind.
No.
This isn't that kind of show.
Tobey Maguire.
No, the villain. Never mind. Just keep it pushing.
The guy from Wings? Sandman?
What? No, what's the villain? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Sandman. I thought.
Yeah.
Like, what's the guy with he's got the big goggles on?
It's been a while since I've seen
I don't
Spider-Man.
remember.
I don't
I don't
revisit
remember
those.
a big goggles guy.
We can keep it going. I could be wrong here.
Oh, you're talking about the Minions, Bob and Kevin. Big goggles. Banana. All right. Azazel floats around for a while, eventually possessing a nearby girl. Azazel taunts John before walking away, and the cops arrive at the scene. Stanton says they know the guy shot first, but he was a school teacher, and the gun was firing blanks. John tells his brother to go home and lock the doors, and Jonesy tells Stanton it's a cult. Back at the precinct, and Stanton says he'll have to arrest John. As he's leaving, Jonesy tells John this shit isn't in the manual. John questions the point of life, and Denzel gives us a very popular GIF reaction when the phone rings. It's Greta, and he says he'll call her back later. John goes home and calls Greta and tells her that Azazel transferred to someone else even after he shot the teacher. We learn demons can survive without a body for one breath, or about 1/6 of a mile, before it needs to take another host. The next morning, John's nephew is playing Game Boy and watching Scooby-Doo. The good old days. And John discovers the bathroom window is open, and Cal is written on the mirror, and the letter Y is written on his nephew's chest. He heads down the hall, where he finds his brother is dead in his bed with PSE written on his chest, and the same syringe filled with poison from the other murders in bed with him. Jonesy calls to tell John to check the news, where the girl that Azazel was in last is saying that John shot first. John grabs a bunch of clothes, the syringe, and tells his nephew to get dressed immediately. Lou arrives to get John, so John and his nephew sneak out the window where Azazel is watching. They catch a train filled with nuns. It reminds me of Ready to Rumble when David Arquette and Scott Conn are hitchhiking and they get in a van full of nuns and they sing Running with the Devil. That's a hilarious scene. Anyway, on this train, John tries to solve his newest riddle. The letters spell out apocalypse, and John asks a nun what it means, as if anyone alive doesn't know what apocalypse means. That was the dumbest part of the movie, I can't lie. When they get off the train, a cop spots him, so him and his nephew take off running. They hang out with some hobos under a bridge, and there's some great hobo barrel fires ablazing. John tells his nephew the police thinks he did some bad things, and he breaks the news about the boy's father, and the kid took it remarkably well. Very level-headed. They go to Greta's next, and my dog is in there. He continues his biblical research later, and he's got a plan, but he wants her to take his nephew away and keep him safe. He says his goodbye to his nephew, hugs Greta, and it's time for him to go. And the next set of scenes is the ending.
I just know the girl Azazel was in last is a wild line. Plus, shooting blanks, he wants to be just like me for real. Anyway, this set of scenes here I think is great because you really start to feel that tension ramp up that Nico talked about last set of scenes. Thanks to that, again, award-winning score from Dan Tunn, which I think I called him Tan Dunn earlier, which is actually how he's credited in this particular movie, but now he's credited as Dan Tunn. So whatever, Nico, get your people. But this tension is ramping up here, and those walls are closing in around him, which I definitely felt as a viewer. I question like how if these witnesses saw the shooting, though, like how it's even a question of what happened legally. But then seeing the news reports, which, by the way, I always find funny in movies that people just so happen to turn on the TV to the exact news report that we need to see, and it just so happens to be on the exact right channel. It's a pet peeve of mine, but it is what it is. But seeing that news report and seeing that the witnesses change their stories, I mean, you kind of have to suspend disbelief some right there because, I mean, no way all of this would play out like that. I mean, he'd be sitting in jail right now. But again, I can move on past that. And at an hour 26:19, I loved seeing that famous Denzel meme. Like, I had no idea that was from this movie. So seeing that scene, I started like, oh, wait a minute. Like, this is so familiar. And then it hits you, and, you know, that, oh, you struck my heart. Like, and I was like, oh, Leo pointing at the TV there for sure. I thought that was awesome. But this is what I was talking about. I almost interrupted you earlier when you were talking about her, Milano, joining that group and what the group is, you know, actually does. Because like at 1 hour and 27:55, she's like surprised to hear him say that the demon moved on after death to another person. Like, shouldn't they know that? Like, I mean, he moved on from Casey Jones after he died. Like, it just seemed like a weird line to me. Like, something they should have already known, especially like as a group or whatever, if she was part of it. What exactly kind of expert is she if she doesn't even know that simple fact about the body jumping thing? But whatever. Last thing is just that I wanted to mention the tension aspect one more time and how tense I felt like the scene became after finding that Y on his nephew and then finding Art. But I will say that the Art death, maybe, I don't know, they should have let that breathe a little bit, which is kind of ironic that we're talking about death and I'm talking about breathing. But it felt even heavier. It should have felt heavier than it did, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Denzel was able to push out a tear, but maybe we should have taken one more beat. You know, I don't know. I did like the foreshadowing, though, of seeing the poison being gone. Kind of weird that they would have not used all of the poison that killed Art, and it wouldn't have just been an empty syringe for John to take. But hey, plot. And it sets up a hell of a finale.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but this Azazel demon is relentless. Imagine if the It Follows demon or whatever that entity was in the movie me and Dustin saw recently from Neon Leviticus, if that was this relentless as well, my goodness. And I got to ask again, why is Lieutenant Stanton being so harsh? Like, to be fair, this guy, I mean, possessed a guy, obviously, he pulled the gun on his detective first. Like, I don't think Denzel should be getting in trouble like this.
Right.
Leo meme pointing, as I see the famous Denzel gif I've used so many times over the past few years. Like, I got a good pop out of that. I said it earlier with Denzel and Gandolfini, but him and Goodman, they have great chemistry as well. Like, I love them on screen together. Not a fan of the jump scare sound effect as Hobbs sees Cal on his mirror. Like, could he went without that. And damn brutal to see Hobbs finding the syringe Art used to kill himself. Azazel is not playing games. The score playing as this happens is top-notch, and I thought it was very melancholic. Thought that it was shot very hectically as Hobbs was packing up and sneaking out of the house. You could feel the tension, the anxiety, the stress that man was feeling getting Sam as well. Another intense chase scene, and you know Sam has to be confused as hell. He still thinks his dad is still asleep in bed for pizza. He doesn't even know his dad is dead right now. Good night. I laughed at Hobbs' line delivery. They are bad for you, and I did quit being questioned about the cigarettes. Like, I love that. No matter the situation, coffee is always a good choice. Life could be falling apart, a demon chasing your family, or you just need a quick pick-me-up in the middle of the day. Coffee is always there for you. Not important to this review at all, but this couch Sam is sleeping on looks comfortable as hell, and I need that kind of sleep. And the last thing I got, I'm excited for this ending. The action has picked up a lot, and it's gotten me reinvested a little bit.
Hey, wait, did Art kill himself? I didn't think he killed himself. I thought somebody murdered him and just left the syringe there.
Well, Azazel did it, I guess, but...
Yeah, I was thinking maybe even the kid did it.
Possessed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters much. All I got to say about that batch of notes from you, Nico, is the coffee enjoyers and the there was a pie or a Venn diagram of coffee drinkers and nap takers. It's just a circle. So,
hey, I like coffee and I like naps. What can I say? I'm in both circles.
I'm outside that circle. Anyway.
Hey, man, fuck you, pal. Just kidding.
All right, here's the ending. John calls Jonesy and tells him he's going for a long drive where no one can find him. And he goes to the Milano cabin, and his narration says it's just him versus Azazel now. Night falls, and John waits. A car pulls up, and Azazel gets out. John talks some shit to Azazel in Aramaic and calls Azazel out. Stanton reveals himself, and John assumes he's Azazel until Jonesy reveals himself, and now John's confused. Jonesy says he doesn't know if he can take John in, but Stanton will hear none of that mess. John finally reluctantly drops his gun, and Jonesy shoots Stanton in the head. He's Azazel. John runs in the cabin, and Azazel tells him time's up and comes in after him. Azazel says if he kills John, it's just the final chapter in his life. But if John kills Jonesy, Azazel enters John and puts another 20 kills on his tab. John stops Jonesy from shooting himself, and a struggle ensues. Jonesy ends up shot and asks John why he wouldn't let him kill himself. John says he needed more time. He says the reason he went all the way out there to the cabin is the same reason Milano did. Not another person around for miles. He rips a heater and tells Azazel it's laced with poison, so they die together. He shoots Jonesy right between the eyes, and Azazel leaves the body. Azazel takes John's body, but he's weakening by the second from the poison. He runs through the snow like we saw in the movie's opening, and turns out the narration was Azazel all along, who says John beat him, but the war isn't over. And Azazel takes a feral cat as host as the movie ends.
Yeah, real quickly, short and sweet. I love the finale. I love the reveal. Love the bad guy winning, honestly. Big props to the effects team. Like James Fredberg, the special effects coordinator, and his team. Like they made those gunshots to the head look realistic and awesome. Love the buildup of suspense. We don't know which body it's in, but damn, Denzel must really have had enough. Like, man had zero problem killing his buddy. And damn, Babe Ruth himself. That's a Babe John Goodman reference there.
Yeah.
Also love how it sets up the 2016 sequel, Fallen. Just kidding. I think it's a totally different movie. I just saw it when I was looking up some stuff about Fallen. It's about some teenagers, but I just felt like throwing everyone off there for a minute. Anyway, great flick all around. What'd you think, Nico?
Yeah, as I see these overhead shots, the thing I'm most impressed by is the lack of traffic. Like, I miss those days dearly. Like, what's happened? As this entity circles this cabin, like, it's giving me some Evil Dead vibes. Like, I was like, I wonder if they called old Sam Raimi about this. Loving Hobbs crash out again. Y'all know I love me a good old crash out, and Denzel might be one of the best at it. And I keep saying Denzel, and it's not. It's Denzel. Fuck. And, of course, Stanton shows up. I've been suspicious of him all movie. Plot twist, Jonesy shoots Stanton. I forgot that he was possessed at the end of this movie. Like, I forgot that fast, but it was a great reveal. For a point-blank shot to the dome, that wound didn't look very accurate, but I'm not sure the type of gun or the bullet caliber either. But, I don't know. I figured it'd be a little bigger wound than that. Nice squabble between Jonesy and Hobbs as old Jonesy takes a bullet. Let me ask you something. I got instant Shane vibes when he said that. Loved it. Nice reveal that Hobbs is killing himself for the greater good to get rid of Azazel and mocking the demon singing the song. I thought that was great. I laughed out loud at Jonesy saying, "Fuck you, motherfucker," the way he did to Hobbs. as Jonesy dies and Azazel enters Hobbs, finally I think we get some resolution and an ending. But I gotta admit, I'm not a huge fan of Azazel being able to just enter a cat. Like, this just feels like cheating. Like, we could have just wrapped the movie up. I mean, I know Jesus cast like all the demons into the pigs, but hell, the pigs ran into the lake and killed himself.
Brian, it's funny that you mentioned The Babe, because that's another movie I watched recently. I watched it Sunday, so
Nice.
I'm going through
Backdraft, The Babe. They're both in the B's. Were you in the B section?
Yeah, I'm watching my monthly challenges, one movie per day. But then if I've got extra time, I'm just going through all my Blu-rays and DVDs and watching the ones that I haven't logged on Letterboxd. So, and I'm doing it in alphabetical order. So yeah,
Maybe that's why you subconsciously picked this movie that has these two guys in it.
Yeah, social media, Dustin, we don't have anything on the Book of Faces or IG. Do you got anything on old X Twitters?
We do. We got a few here. On the initial post where I posted that video you made, our upcoming schedule, and asked what people are looking forward to the most. Boomer_T, Tyler said, Fallen. Well, he said Club Dread, but then he said also Fallen. It's been on my watch list forever, and it's finally time to watch. So, hell yeah, hope you enjoyed it.
Love
and then
that.
On the post asking for questions, comments, he also said, the twist at the end was great for me and really pulled it all together. The repetitiveness and length are really its only cons. Felt like Jason Goes to Hell in 7. 4 out of 5. Also, The Bone Collector or Fallen? I'm going to say Fallen.
I would take Bone Collector personally, but not by much.
I like Fallen better.
Okay.
As well.
Edward Hernandez Gunn said it's a classic. And the last one we got is Andrew Ferguson, who said, quote, I want to tell you about the time I almost died. Great twist. I agree. It was a good twist.
Wow, Brian, I'm so disappointed in you right now.
Twist his dick!
All right. Way to totally redeem yourself.
John Denver's full of shit.
Y'all got any fun facts you want to share?
I got a couple. At the police station, a cabbie shows up looking for a releasee, Richard Suckle. Richard Suckle is the name of the film's associate producer. Also, I just want to include that one because that kid got called Dick Suckle as a kid. Like, that's a rough name to have. Richard Suckle.
Especially like in the age where people called all the Richards Dick. So like that's real cruel. That was cruel.
Yeah, he grew up during some tough times with that name.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger was considered for the role of John Hobbs. Glad they went with Denzel. Arnold's got some bangers in his catalog, but I could not see him in that role. I mean, I could actually, but I don't want to.
You can't take what you're doing seriously. I mean, come on.
Have y'all ever seen End of Days with Arnold?
No.
You have that DVD.
I do.
Or at least I used to. Yeah.
I watched that movie like when it came out. It was on the TV in the living room, and I was just like walking through, and I stopped and watched it. The movie freaked me out as a kid. Anyway, the last one I've got is that John Denver. That's your fault, Brian.
My bad.
John Goodman, a.k.a. Big Dan Teague, the Bible salesman. He was also in Once Upon a Time in Venice with David Arquette. And Big Dan Teague, that's Oh Brother Where Art Thou, Nico.
All righty, box office. I don't see a budget on the old IMDb, but gross worldwide, 25,232,000. Not bad.
Recall, the budget was 48 million, 40 something million. I think I remember reading.
Ooh,
46 million according to
46.
Wiki. Yeah.
Good night. What a tanker.
Yeah, bombed. It is now a cult classic.
Yeah.
Fallen. That's
and it's on Netflix if anyone listened to this and hasn't watched it yet.
Yeah, go watch it. They need to make up some money still. Good night. I can't believe the movie tanked like that, though. I mean, look at the cast.
That's probably where the budget went.
I mean, we figured they put some butts in seats, though.
They didn't have any money left over for marketing.
Something went wrong.
Yeah. Hey, Dustin, let's jump into the old favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating. You want to kick us off so you can jot these scores down?
Sure. I'm going to go with Stanton as my favorite kill. Bro was an asshole, and him getting shot in the head, it was pretty shocking. So I didn't like that he didn't have his guys back the whole movie, and then he got shot in the head. Didn't see it coming still. least favorite kill was John. I just feel like it was unnecessary for him to die, and I'll explain that in a minute. As for my final thoughts on the rating, I mean, noir crime thriller, that's also supernatural horror starring Denzel, John Goodman, and James Gandolfini. I was always going to like this movie just based off that description and that cast. Denzel is great as always, and I really like the premise. My biggest issues are John's brother being written and acted how he was. Like, I feel like that was really unnecessary. He could have just been a guy down on his luck. He didn't. You also need to be
mentally challenged.
Yeah. I just feel like he didn't need to be written the way he did. He could just been a guy down on his luck. Didn't have to be quirky. And also the ending was a miss for me. I think John could have easily shot Jonesy in the knees, like to hamper his walking and chasing ability, and then left him to bleed out and have plenty of time to get away safely. There's no need for him to poison himself. Also, Azazel getting the cat at the end, that was a big whiff for me. Like you said, Nico, like I kind of wanted it to just, I don't know, something other than a cat. Maybe we see that Stanton wasn't really dead. His eyes open and he's gasping for breath, and he takes his body, and I don't know, he's found
Bro
just
hates
a cat.
cats.
Maybe that's it. But other than that, I think there's a lot to like in this movie, and I give it an 8.
Hey, can I say before you go, Nico, that the interwebs blames the fact that Titanic was dominating in the theaters during this run for the financial failure.
I hear you, and I call bullshit because Obsession was dominating, and Backroom still got in the top 10 all time for a horror movie. So
you are comparing Obsession and Titanic. The shit.
I'm not comparing Obsession and Titanic.
Especially the cost of
better.
the cost of tickets and concessions back then versus today. People could have saw a double feature. Miss me with that.
And people didn't have phones like doom scroll on all day. They could have went and saw 2 movies.
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about? What are we even talking about?
I don't know. I'll just go next. How about that? Favorite kill? I'm going to agree with you, Dustin, on Stanton. I didn't really care for the wound. I mean, I could be totally wrong. That could have been a caliber bullet and the type of wound you would get, but it was pretty close. And I figured his head would get a lot more wounded on that. But at least favorite kill, let's go with Art. How about that? What did Art do to deserve that? I mean, I know it had stakes with Hobbs, but he didn't deserve that. I gave the movie a 7, the same as IMDb has it. Not trying to spoil your feng shui, Dustin. I think it's a good movie. It's just not one I want to pop on too often. Like, I do like Bone Collector a little bit better. I would rather, some other crime thrillers I would pick before this one. And I agree with Boomer T from X. It just gets a little monotonous in the middle and just gets a little slow. This movie's a little too long. But great performances. I do like some of the ending. I like a lot of the action, the tension. Yeah, good movie though.
Favorite kill, I gave it Sutherland's gunshot to the head. Least favorite kill, Art's, because it was off screen. Real quick, another 90s banger, in my opinion, and I just keep saying that because it bothers Nico. I think it does. If not, I want it to.
Doesn't bother me.
Underrated decade for movies, peak decade for humanity. I give this one 4 stars on Letterboxd, so go follow me since I have one, and Nico and Dustin don't care about me enough to shout mine out
when
when
you
they do yours.
When you said that, I was like, damn, he does have a letterbox. I forgot.
I just edited the podcast. Anyway, I gave this one an 8 out of 10 as well on our scale.
Well, really wish you hadn't, because that gives us a composite score of a very movie theme appropriate 7.6667.
Oh, geez.
They just rounded up at 7.67.
I normally would have, but I felt the need to say
7 point what?
67. I felt the need to shout out to 3-6 Mafia since given the theme of the movie. IMDb, like Nico said, is at a 7.0. Letterboxd 3.3 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes. This could also have a lot to do with that box office. 43% favorable. So,
damn.
Yeah.
What the fuck? These people. I don't like Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not fond of them.
But you're fond of me, Lobster.
What is happening? I've missed this.
All right, I'm going to shout out our blood donors, and then I'll announce Mike's pick for next week. We really appreciate all our blood donors. I say it every week. Stay tuned. Like I mentioned, I bought a lot of steel books over Father's Day sale, so throw y'all some digital codes. Throw some on Instagram as well. Camper level reoccurring Nina, Michelle Mirza, Steve Schmidt, Anthony Andrews, Lisa, and Sean Irwin. Camp Council reoccurring Edward Hernandez Gunn, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davis, Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, Max K, and Amanda Pettiford. Really appreciate y'all like always. Mean it sincerely. Help us pay these bills, and couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you. Well, we could. We would just be a little bit more broke, but we appreciate y'all. It means a lot, seriously, though, that you help us pay for the show, because you don't have to. Like, we really appreciate y'all. Next week for Mike's pick, Mike missed this week. He's on his annual trip to Daytona with his family, where he's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. We don't have money like Mike does, but he chose 2019's Alexandra Aya directed Crawl. So I'm not sure. Dustin, does your pick Club Dread? Is it kind of is it a creature feature, or is it just more like summery kind of vibes?
Yeah, it's not a creature feature.
Okay, gotcha.
Summer.
Yeah.
Summery vibes, but I was only asking that because his pick next week is like an alligator movie. My pick is a shark movie. I didn't know if yours was a creature feature as well, but
Nah, it's more of a slasher.
Gotcha. Well, it's all summertime vibes. Just looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm excited to revisit Crawl. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I've heard good things about it, so I hope I like it more on this watch.
I haven't seen it at all.
Hell yeah. So first watch for Dustin.
Yep.
What you think? You like the Gators?
Hell no.
Okay. Yeah, me neither. But we appreciate y'all tuning in.
Hey, since this releases next week, happy birthday, Brian. Love you.
Also, just since she's on my mind, good night, Tate McRae.
All right, y'all. I just want to say thanks for listening. If you haven't, don't forget to hit subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating, write us a good review. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast at. Apple, leave us a good review. That's where we get most of our traction. We really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody